Hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all are doing good. Let us start the session. So before starting the session, let me introduce myself. Yeah, good morning. So my name is Shaik Saidhul. I've completed my master's degree from National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli. Currently, I'm working at a top MNC as a Google Google Cloud Senior Data Engineer, Cloud Data Engineer. So yeah, this is all about me. So now let us for today's agenda, we're going to discuss about what is a Google Cloud platform and what is data engineering as well. And after that, we will see why we have to learn the data engineering with the Google Cloud platform. What are the benefits that we are going to get over the Google Cloud platform comparatively with the Amazon web services as well as Azure platform. So that is also we will see. And we'll also see some basic concepts related to the what is meant by a data lake, what is meant by a RDBMS and OLTP versus OLAP. So we will see few basic concepts related to that as well. So let us start with our session with the data engineering. The very first important thing is data engineering. This is a foundational course. When it comes to the data engineering, it is a very foundational course. The course will be having always the opportunities, because if any person who is working in a data, if they wanted to have a data cleaned or a prepared data, or if they wanted to do some kind of analysis on the data or a dashboards created on top of a data, the data need to be properly processed, and there has to be a streamlined pipeline to be running behind the scene, and the infrastructure for these entire things has to be taken care by some data engineers. So without the data engineering, I believe that other fields may not be having a lot of work. So when it comes to the data engineering, there are plenty of opportunities. So let us see first of all what is meant by actual data engineering and what are the stages in the data engineering. We will also see the life cycle of a data engineering. Then what is this Google Cloud platform? Why we are learning the Google Cloud platform with help of this data engineering? Let us try to understand. Okay, hope you all can hear me. So if you are unable to hear me, let me know, guys. Right? So yeah. First of all, let me try to explain you what is meant by data engineering. So you might have already know, some people might have already know, it's just a recapitulation for them. Okay, yeah. So you might be wondering, so the data comes from if you go 10 years before or 15 years before, what was the era is that you do not have a plenty of applications, you do not have a devices to work with, or you do not have a many devices to interact with many applications, right? But now what is happening is that every day we are trying to use a mobile phone or a laptop. We are trying to interact with each and every application every now and then. Like if you go in an hour, if I wanted to order some food, or if I wanted to order some clothing, book some tickets, whatever it is, what you are trying to do is that you are trying to interact with an application, or you are trying to interact with a web server. You're trying to interact with the IoT devices. What is happening is that when you try to interact with an application or a web server, the application generates the data. Okay, that application generates the data. That data is going to be stored in one backend system. Okay, either it can be stored in a RDBMS solutions or in NoSQL databases or a warehouses. Let's not worry about it. Okay, so you will be having a data coming from a multiple data sources, right? So either some when you think about a Flipkart, okay, Flipkart may store the data. Flipkart may get the data from plenty of applications or plenty of web servers, plenty of IoT devices, right? So this is what happens. You have a data coming from a multiple data sources. Okay, either that data comes from an application, that data comes from an application or a web server, both are same, guys, or IoT devices, Internet of Things, that data comes from a easily. For example, someone might be preparing a CSV files or a right, Excel files, right? So that is also a data generated, right? For example, if you go to some hospital or a production areas or a manufacturing plants, what they do is that whenever some person is entered into their premises, they try to enter that data in the form of a Excel files, right? So that is also a data generated at some point of time. So when you have a data coming from a file formats as well, either it can be a CSV file or a Excel file or a Parquet file, Avro file, whatever it is. So you get a data from applications or web servers. You get a data from a sensor devices, IoT devices, right? Right. For example, when you are working, whatever you might have known the sensor devices already, right? And the data comes from a CSV files or Avro files, whatever it is. So what do you try to do? What is our main agenda here is that what the businesses say is that, so when you have a data, if I wanted to understand the business, okay, if I wanted to improve the business, I must understand the business. Okay, if I wanted to improve my business, I must understand the business. If I wanted to understand the business, I must store the data coming from multiple data sources in a single platform. Okay, if I wanted to store the data in a single platform, the data has to be properly cleaned, because if the data is not properly cleaned, I can't do the analysis on top of it, right? So if I have to do the analysis on top of it, first I need to have these multiple data sources in one single platform. So it's very similar, guys. So think like this, okay? Think like this before understanding that. People say, I myself say to my students is that data engineering is very similar to the civil engineering. Why is that? For example, you wanted to construct a home. Assume that you wanted to construct a home. You might be, if you wanted to construct a home, you need a raw material, either the cement or the bricks or the equipment or the water. You may not be having in single location, right? So what do you try to do? You first get all of these multiple raw materials like cement, bricks, equipment to a location where you wanted to construct a home, right? After that, you try to do some kind of a processing on it. What does that mean by processing, sir? You can't just put the bricks and try to construct a wall, right? So you need to have a mixture of a cement with the sand as well as the water. Then that mixture will be very useful for you to construct a wall with help of the bricks, right? So that kind of a processing you do it. That means whatever the things that you are getting as a raw material directly may not be in a usable format, right? So when you don't have a usable format, you try to make it in a usable format by doing some kind of a processing on it. Then you send it to the, then what do? You try to construct a wall. Okay, this is what is your final requirement. Okay, once you have a wall, do you directly use it? No, you try to add some colors and you try to make it cosmetically good so that it will looks good, so that whoever wanted to stay there, it will be comfortable and happy to them. So that's what in the data engineering also. You have a data coming from a multiple data sources. You first store them in a single location. Okay, you first store them in a single location, because this particular storage layer, you can think of it as a storage layer. You can think of this storage layer as a centralized large repository where you try to store the data. Yes, it's like a repository, right? So you get a data from applications. You integrate the data with the help of this storage layer. You get the data from IoT, you get the data from a file. So the main advantage of the main importance of the storage layer is that it should be able to store the data that comes from any platform. First thing, it shouldn't restrict the data size, it shouldn't restrict the file format, it shouldn't restrict the number of files. So I need to have a one platform which will be storing the data coming from a multiple data sources without a restriction on the size, without restriction on the file format, without restriction on the number of files I am storing it here. So that kind of a platform that we are already having. So that is a storage layer. Nowadays, people also call it as a data lake. Okay, a data lake is a centralized large repository to store or collect your data for your business purpose. The main advantage of the data lakes is to you don't do the data processing here. You must try to store the data because before doing the processing, because in the data lake, you want all of your data in one place. Okay, if all of the data in one place, because you think that these applications are hosted on some other US servers, this IoT applications are maybe in India, these file formats are maybe coming from Dubai or something. So because if you wanted to do some kind of analysis on your platform, you need to have all of this data in one platform. So that's where the data lakes are for. The data lake is a centralized large repository to store your data in one place. Okay. So now the thing is that I have the data in one place. However, I have the data in one, however, the raw material I have in one place, I have the same data in one place. Okay. Now, what is the thing, sir? What is the thing? And people say that the data that you got from the, assume that because maybe we may not be understanding the applications or IoT, maybe you might be understanding this file format, files, right? So the data that a data entry operator who entered the data into the Excel files is directly correct. It may not be in a correct format, right? So for example, if I wanted to do some kind of analysis, it may not be in a correct format. It may be having some null values. It may be having some duplicate values. So the very first thing I need to think about is that now I have the data in one place. I need to think about processing the data. I need to think about what, sir? We need to think about data processing. Okay, what is meant by data processing? Data processing is a location, or it is a stage, or it is a data processing is a kind of a pipeline. 1 minute, guys. Sorry. Data processing is one of the important step in the data life cycle, guys, because so this is where the entire data engineers are actually working. So what is meant by data processing is that so you have a very large amount of the data coming from these multiple data sources. You need to create a pipeline, or you need to create some kind of a workflow which will be very useful for you to get the data from the data lakes or data sources, which will be very helpful for you to get the data from a data sources and do some kind of a data processing and send it to the data destinations. So that is the main agenda of the data processing. The main agenda of the data processing is to, it will try to read the data from the data sources, and it will send the data, it will load the data to the data destinations. Before that, this is a source. This sometimes data lakes are the source, sometimes directly the applications are the source. Okay, it will read the data from a sources and it will load it to the destinations. Before that, it will do the data processing activity. The data processing activity mean by cleaning the data, preparing the data, trying to add some value to the data. Okay, we are trying to add a value to the data. What does that mean, sir? For example, if your data is having a duplicates, we try to remove it. If the data is having a null values, we try to remove it. If you wanted to do some kind of a transformations, we do that. So whatever the thing, sir, I wanted to rename a column, I wanted to add a column, sir, I wanted to do some kind of a, I don't want a data related to the some country, because my business is there in almost 10 countries, but because of the control activity or the user regulations, we don't need to look at the data related to the Australia or Europe. So we try to filter out the data. So there are plenty of activities involved in the data processing, and the data that we are dealing with in the data processing is not very small. Okay, so that's where data processing is a very highly important step in the data engineering activity, where the data is actually prepared, cleaned, have added some value to it. So once the data processing is done, Okay, there are plenty of data processing tools are there. We will see what are those data processing tools. You might have already seen like Hadoop infrastructure. Hadoop is there, Spark is there, Airflow is there. So plenty of tools are also there for the data processing. Correct, correct. Okay, someone is saying that, yeah, like you try to kind of doing a purification kind of a thing, correct. So that's what it is. And once you have transformed the data, properly cleaned the data, you try to send the data to the warehouses. You might have known the warehouse is something, the entire products will be stored, right? The warehouse is simply the entire products will be stored. The data warehouse is similarly, our entire enterprise data will be available in the data warehouse or stored in the data warehouse. What is the difference between the data lake and data warehouse is that in the data lake, even though it is having an entire enterprise the data, but it is not directly in a usable format. But in the data warehouses, the data was already cleaned and readily usable format. That is one thing. And one more thing is that data lakes does not comes up with a very query engine, but the data warehouses comes up with a query engine where you will be able to run SQL queries on top of your data, so that you will be able to perform some kind of a analysis on top of it. So that is mainly for the business requirements. Okay, so this is what is a data warehouse now. Once you have the entire data in the data warehouse, that's where the plenty of people such as a BI people come into the picture, or a machine learning people come into the picture, or a business managers come into the picture. Okay. Okay, either BI people, ML. So this is something that you constructed your home, right? You constructed your home, but the people don't want to just see your home, right? It is just it looks like very odd when you just construct your home with help of the bricks and cement, right? What happens is that it doesn't look good. So they try to add some kind of a colors to your home so that it cosmetically looks good, right? So similarly, the data warehouse data will be in the form of a table, and that table is having almost some crores records of the data. Okay, some million records of the data, 10 million, 100 million records of the data. So that is in the form of a table. So people don't want it to see the data in the form of a table because it doesn't, I mean, even though it looks good, but doing the analysis by looking at the table, understanding the data is not that much easy. So for that one, that's where the BA people, what they try to do is that they try to create a reports or a dashboards on top of your data, so that they will be the business managers will be able to analyze the data easily. Okay, so that is what is all about a data engineering, guys. So this is what is a data engineering. Okay, in a data engineering, you can also think of it as a data life cycle. In a data life cycle, you have a source. You are trying to ingest the data integration. So this is your source. And ingestion. These arrow marks are ingestions, are indicating the ingestion. And after that, you are trying to store the data in the storage. Okay. And after that, you are doing the data processing. And after that, you are trying to store the data in the data warehouse for the analysis purpose. Okay. And finally, you're going to do the dashboards or reports. Dashboards or reports or ML models, whatever it is. Okay, so this is what is a data life cycle, sir. In a data life cycle, data comes from a multiple data sources. You try to ingest the data into the storage layer, and the data may not be usable format. You try to do the data processing on top of it, and you send the data to the data warehouse, and that's where the data will be, entire data in the data warehouse will be used for the BI, ML or business managers. So this is what is a data engineering, sir. Okay, yeah. So this is what is a data engineering, guys. So any questions so far? And not only that, for this one, we do need a data orchestration as well. We do have to worry about the data governance and security. We need to monitor the pipelines. We need to manage the pipeline. So plenty of other things is also there. Over and all, data engineering have these steps. But if I have to look at it, so because you see here, assume that this is an entire project. So someone has to take care of this is an ingestion pipeline, this is a data processing pipeline, this is also a data processing pipeline. Someone has to move the data from this one to BI. So there has to be one orchestrator. Okay, even though here also, when you go to civil engineering, when you are someone is doing a getting the raw material, someone is constructing a building, all of these things, there has to be some person who is telling to do what, right? To do what, there will be some person, I don't know what usually call it as, there will be some person who is telling to what to do next. Likewise, even though when you are working in a project also, you will be having a manager to do what and to track your all the activity, right? So we do have a one more tool or a one more stage, that is data orchestration. Data orchestration is something to tell about I mean, it enables you to schedule or manage your complex data workflows. So including if you wanted to take care about a data ingestion, this ingestion phase, if you wanted to talk about a data processing or a transformation phase, data analysis phase. So for all of these things, the data orchestration is very must. So this data orchestration is also very important thing. Likewise, after that, we need to take care about the data governance, data security. Okay, data security. And one more important thing is monitoring and monitoring the pipelines or flows, workflows, whatever it is. Okay, so these are all activities of a data engineer itself. Okay, a data engineer may be responsible for working on the data ingestion. So this is a data ingestion phase. A data engineer responsible for building a data lake. A data engineer is maybe responsible for a data processing. A data engineer responsible for building a data warehouse or creating an entire pipelines. Data engineering is responsible for data orchestration and data governance, data security, monitoring the pipelines. So this is all about a data engineering, guys. Very important thing or very important concept. So the main phases in this step is, if I have to name it one by one. Okay. Data engineering stages. If I have to name it one by one. First one is data ingestion. Okay. The very second one is data transformation. Okay. Data storage. Fourth one is data orchestration. The fifth one is data governance or data monitoring and managing. Managing. And the fifth one is, sixth one is governance and security. So all of these are the data engineering stages, guys. So for data ingestion, data transformation, data storage, data orchestration, these are the main steps when it comes to the data engineering, and monitoring and security. And these are the aspects that as a data engineer also we need to take care of. Okay, this is something. And so these are in terms of a data engineering steps or stages we are talking about. Sir, so far so good. Now I got some idea about data engineering. So far so good. But tell me, sir, what is this Google Cloud Platform? Why we are learning the data engineering with the Google Cloud Platform? That is a very important and very good question. I would like to answer that. The thing here is that I told you an application is in general term. What is the tool behind it? I told you a file format. I should tell an RDBMS. RDBMS, 1 minute, guys. Sorry. So the thing here is that, so we have learned this data lifecycle with the in general names. Okay. When it comes to an RDBMS or applications, a data lake, what is this data processing? And these are the general data process, data engineering phases or stages we can say. Okay, at a data lifecycle, these are the important stages. So what are the tools required to do the data ingestion? What is acting as a data lake? There needs to be one tool which will be very useful for the data lake, right? So what is that tool? So where I can do the data processing? Okay, and which tool I can use it as a data warehouse? Which tool I will be using is a BI? So that is where the Google Cloud Platform. So Google Cloud Platform is something, it has, for example, when you have a data engineering with the Google Cloud Platform, so in the data engineering, you gonna design or develop or manage the data pipelines, okay, with the help of the data engineering tools in the Google Cloud Platform, because Google Cloud Platform is one of the cloud provider. It's going to provide you a pool of services for the data engineering as well. Not only for a data engineering, they're going to provide the tools for the machine learning. They're going to provide the tools for the DevOps engineering, cloud developers, data engineers, many people. Okay, so Google Cloud Platform is a suite of services. It is having a suite of services, and out of those suite of services, for the data engineering also, there are few services are there. Not few, there are plenty of services for the data engineering as well. So with the help of the Google Cloud services, we are going to leverage the benefit of the data engineering. So that is what is meant by a data engineering with the Google Cloud Platform. It's not like, sir, can't we do with the Azure? Yes, you can do data engineering with Azure as well. Okay, you can do the data engineering with Azure. You can do the data engineering with the AWS. You can do the data engineering with Google. Okay, because what are these cloud providers? Azure, AWS, and Google. These are the three main trending cloud providers who provides a suite of services for the users for either it can be a data engineering field, or it can be a DevOps field, or an infrastructure field, or a developing field, or application field, whatever it is, networking, databases, everything. Okay, so one of the pool of services is related to the data engineering. Why we need to do that, I will tell you. Okay, why we need to go for this one is that, so what happens is that when you don't want it to go to the cloud provider, so assume like this. Okay, so this is very simple, and try to understand this thing. Think like this. For example, you wanted to, okay, so for example, you are starting a project. In your project that is related to the data engineering, it is a data engineering project, data AI project. You can think of just data project. You are having a data project. Inside the data project, you need to have a plenty of tools. You need to interact with the Spark. You need to interact with the Hadoop, HDFS. Just naming few services, guys. HDFS, You need to interact with the airflow. Okay, so these many services are there. Okay, the problem here is that when you try to access Spark or HDFS and Airflow in your on-premises, what happens is that it takes, for working with the Spark, there needs to be a cluster readily available. A cluster is nothing but a plenty of multiple machines. So if you need to have those machines, you need to manage all of those machines. Okay, a single job, a single machine cannot be able to handle the entire work. That's where you need a distributed environment. When you need a distributed environment, that's where you are going for a cluster. So what happens here is that if you wanted to work with these tools, you need to install, or you need to take care of the infrastructure, everything on your own. Okay, everything on your own. Okay, so that is what is a on-premises project. So this is called as a on-premises. In your on-premises project, what happens is that you as a person or you as a team has to take care of the infrastructure of the Spark, Hadoop, and Airflow. Okay, Hadoop is for the storage, Spark is in our upcoming classes. We are going to learn all of these things in detail, sir. For now, I'm trying to understand. Okay, instead of this one, I'll try to tell you. Okay, one thing I will try to, instead of this one. So assume this one. Okay, so you wanted to cook a food. Okay, so the main agenda for you is that eating a food, guys. Okay, the main agenda is for you to eat food. Okay, so there are two ways. One way is that you can cook your food by having a gas and a stove. Okay, getting the raw material such as rice, vegetables, right? So what do you try to do is that if you wanted to eat a food at home, you try to manage all of these things. So for example, if you wanted to cook a food, first you need to, for eating a food, you need to cook a food, right? So you need to buy the stove, you need to buy the gas, you need to buy the rice and vegetables, you do some kind of a cooking on top of it, you do some processing, and finally your food is ready, then you will go for eating a food. Okay, what is the problem here is that you are spending a lot of time as well as your effort of preparation of the food, and you're also taking care of the infrastructure here, such as the gas and stove and electric, whatever it is. Okay, so it takes a lot of time for eating the food. You are spending almost 3 hours. Okay, getting all of these raw materials for 2 hours, 1 hour for the food preparation. Okay, so you are wasting almost 3 hours of time for eating the food. Before eating the food, you need to have all of these things in one place. You need to cook the food, then only you can go for the eating the food. But what is the other, on the other hand, what you can do instead of cooking a food? We can just directly go to our main agenda is to eat the food, right? So I can directly go to the restaurant. I can directly go to the restaurant and order food and eat food. Now tell me how much time it will take. It will take very less time, right? It will take very, very less time, and not only that, there isn't much effort is needed here. See, when you wanted to, your main agenda is eating the food. Your main agenda is eating a food here, but you are spending a lot of time on the infrastructure here. You are not spending that much time on the infrastructure here because that infrastructure is taken care by the restaurant here. Similarly, when you are working in on-premises, okay, your main agenda is to develop something. Development. Okay. For going to the development, you need to take care of the infrastructure for the Spark. You need to take care of the infrastructure for the. It's not about Spark. You need to take care of infrastructure for the tool 1. You need to take care of the infrastructure for the tool 2. You need to take care of the infrastructure for the tool 3. We will see what are these tool 1, tool 2, tool 3. And then you try to mix and match these tools and you try to do the development. Then only you will be trying to do the development. But getting the infrastructure for the tool 1 is not that easy, and maintaining the tool 1 is not that easy. It may be needing some subscriptions. It may be needing some extra extensions to be installed, extra networking as well as storage elements, devices, plugging of networking, plenty of things involved here. Okay, so it takes a lot of time for me to take care of all of this infrastructure. It could go up to 3 months also. Okay, it could go up to 3 months also for the infrastructure. Instead, what the cloud provider do is for you is that similarly like a restaurant. So you need not to worry about your tools. You need not to worry about the infrastructure and all of those things. We will provide those tools as a managed services here. Okay, managed service. The tool 1 is a managed service 1 here. The tool 2 is a managed service 2 here. The tool 3 is a managed service 3 here. Okay, so they will provide the services as a managed services here. So you don't manage the infrastructure here. This infrastructure is readily available in few minutes. It wouldn't take much time. It will be available in few minutes. You just have to enable the infrastructure that will be available. You can directly go for the development. Okay, that is what is the cloud provider. That is why the cloud providers are very famous now. You spend a lot of time. If you are having a one project only, you're spending like months to enable the infrastructure. If you have a plenty of the projects every day, you spend a lot of time enabling the infrastructure, and you waste your effort. There will you spend your time. The time is waste, and the effort you are putting into building the infrastructure is also wasted. Because as a data engineer, you should be developing on the you should be focusing on the development, but instead you are focusing on the infrastructure. That's where the time is wasted. So what the cloud providers gonna do for is that they're gonna provide you the services readily available. It's like it's like a restaurant. You have a pool of services. You try to order that service. Okay, you need to order that service. That service will be available in for restaurant. It's going to be available in next to 5 minutes. Likewise, it's going to be next to 2 or 3 minutes only. These services will be available. Then you go for the development. So this is what is a Google do for us. Not only Google, Azure, AWS, and Google, all these will do for the same thing. Okay, instead of managing our own infrastructure, they're going to manage the infrastructure, and you as a person try to focus on the development. You as a data engineer, instead of focusing on the infrastructure, building the infrastructure, networking, all of those things, to directly focus on the development and leverage the benefit of the managed services using the Google Cloud Platform. Now, what is the Google Cloud Platform, sir? Google Cloud Platform provides you a suite of data processing and storage services. It involves leveraging the Google Cloud Platform tools and technologies to collect the data, transform the data, store the data, analyze the data at one scale. Okay, so this is what is a Google Cloud Platform do for us. Okay, so it's going to provide you the services. Okay, they call, instead of you call it a tool in the on-premises, they call it a service in the GCP. Okay, they provide you the services, and those services are managed by them only. Why they have mentioned it as a fully managed? Because they are managing this service. You are not managing. Okay, you create an instance, you work with that, but the management is taken care by the cloud provider. So that is how the GCP do for us. Okay, so when it comes to the RDBMS in the GCP, 1 minute, I'm going to show you. What are those tool names? Sir, I wanted to know the tool names for the data lake. Sir, I wanted to know the tool names. I wanted to know the services in the data processing for the GCP. So if you wanted to learn, that is our course content, guys. Okay. Hope you all can see my screen. This is a big data engineering on the Google Cloud Platform. You might have understood some data engineering life cycle, right? So during that, you might have understand the main importance of the RDBMS data lake. That's just an idea, guys. To make you give some idea, I have told you the names and give you some description about that. But in our upcoming sessions, we're going to discuss each and every aspect very detailed with practical implementations. Okay. So now you might have heard about a data lake, right? So where we are, data lake is a centralized large repository to store your data. So Google Cloud Storage is acting as a data lake in the cloud platform. Okay, the tool in the Google Cloud Platform. Okay, cloud storage is one of the tool in the Google Cloud Platform or a service in the Google Cloud Platform. It is a fully managed service. to act as a data lake. What is a data lake? To store the data. Google Cloud Storage is also will do store the data, secure the data, scale the data, whatever it is. Okay, so that is one thing that we are going to learn. And we have also seen RDBMS solutions. We are also learning about RDBMS solution. RDBMS solution is what, sir? For example, you are interacting with an application. The application stores the data where? The application stores the data in the backend database. That backend database is nothing but an RDBMS solution. Either it could be a Cloud SQL or a Cloud Spanner or a big table. Either it is an RDBMS solution or a NoSQL database solution. So we will see the difference between the what is a have a BigQuery, very famous tool. Okay, and it is a serverless platform. We will see what it is. And data ingestion tools, data integration or ingestion, PubSub and data stream for streaming data and all of those things. For the data processing, very important step, guys. We are spending a lot of time here only. We spend a lot of time here and here because most of the data engineers are going to work on this area only. Okay, so we have a data proc for Hadoop and Spark environment. So we are going to learn about Hadoop and Spark environment. We are going to learn about PySpark here, and we are having a plenty of projects in real-time scenarios also. And we have a cloud data flow, and which is going to be worked with help of the Apache Beam programming model. What is meant by Apache Beam programming model? How to deal with the batch data processing, streaming data processing, how we can leverage the Google Cloud predefined data pipelines also we will be learning. Okay, predefined data pipeline templates are also there. How we can leverage those things we will see. And data fusion is a one more, because here in the data proc we are going to create a pipelines. Data flow also we are going to create a pipelines with the help of the Apache Beam here, with the help of the Spark here. And the data fusion we are going to create a pipelines, but we are not going to use any code here. It is a user-friendly and code-free drag and drop tool for creating a pipelines. So you don't need a coding knowledge here to create a pipeline. So one more important thing, that is data fusion. And we have also seen our workflow orchestration tool, that is Airflow or a Composer here inside the Google Cloud Platform. And for the IAM, for the user and project management. Say you are working in a Google Cloud Platform, someone has to provide you the access, right? So you need to have access. You need to have access to work in the particular service in the GCP. So who is providing that? So there will be an admin. So what kind of access you need to have? So some basics of the IAM we need to learn. That is one thing. And the cloud functions as well as cloud schedulers. Cloud functions to trigger the activities. For example, some event is happened. As soon as the event is happened, you wanted to trigger one more action. So for such kind of a things, if you wanted to have, you can go for the cloud functions. Assume that there is a one file is loaded to the storage layer. As soon as the file is loaded to the storage layer, you wanted to alert your team members. You wanted to send a mail to your team members. So such kind of a trigger activities, if you wanted to do, you can do with the help of the cloud functions. Very important tool as well. And cloud scheduler is such as like your alarm, right? Alarm is something what it will do. It will try to alarm you, but when the time comes. So such thing, for example, you wanted to, wanted to schedule some data pipeline, you can do that with help of the cloud scheduler. Scheduler, it is an alarm kind of a thing. Okay, so these are the tools that we are going to learn. We have understand the data engineering, and I have also told you the data Google Cloud Platform and why it is important, and how why people are going to the cloud platforms. Also, I have given you some idea. Now we are going to leverage the benefit of the Google Cloud Platform tools and technologies to collect, store, transform, and analyze the data. That is our data engineering. Okay, in the data engineering, we have a data integration tools. Those data the very first thing, for example, if you go here, if I say data ingestion tools, so we have a cloud storage. We have a cloud storage and PubSub. Okay, and cloud IoT, the people may not be using all the time. So for the data transformations, use the data flow, data proc, data fusion. Oh no, I don't want to mention data fusion. BigQuery also one of the where we do the data analysis, data transformation. Data storage. Data storage again, for example, we have a Cloud SQL, Spanner, Bigtable, and BigQuery also. You can say BigQuery is also one more. And data orchestration. For the data orchestration, we have a composer. Or nothing. People also call it as a Airflow. Very important terminology. We shouldn't confuse. And for managing and monitoring, we have a cloud logging, cloud operations. So plenty of things are there. So this is again for operations, cloud operations. Okay, so this is what it is. So I have mentioned all of these tools in one. So that is what it is. If you wanted to see these tools in detail, so what are we actually going to learn? So this is where is our in detailed topic wise course content, guys. And not only that, sir, what is the advantage that we are? So theoretically we are learning, practically we are learning. So most of the times I'm telling you guys, our course is focused on practical things. Going to be 80% is the practical, only 20% is the theoretical ones. And one more thing, we are also having a projects, real-time projects. So we are going to build a data warehouse, data lakes, and I'm going to tell you how to create a batch data pipelines, reading the data from a CSV file or reading the data from a RDBMS and loading it to the data warehouse. That is the data warehouse tool. Or I have also assignments and case studies. So assignments is for you to understand the concept and try to implement a solution. And the case studies is again, I'm going to tell you what is this one and how we are going to implement these things. And projects are the real-time ones, which will be very useful for you to put it in your resume, and which will be very useful to gain some knowledge in the real time for each and every tool. Okay, so this is what is our course content topic wise. Now, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Unmute yourself and you can talk to me. Yeah, so I forgot to mention few things. I'm going to mention it here, guys. Okay, our course. Data engineering with the Google Cloud platform. Course name. Course duration is going to be 40 plus hours. Usually it is gonna go up to 40 to 43 hours, sir. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say 40 plus hours, close to 2 months. Okay, 2 months of this. And I'm gonna provide you the material. I'm gonna show you my material as well. Material, shared, video recordings every day, shared, and the class timings. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day, and not every day, Monday to Friday. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, so this is our course duration, 40 hours. I'm going to show you the material. So this is how my material is, guys, sir. I'm going to provide you the access to my notebook, and here you will be having all the, for example, tomorrow I'm going to tell you how to create a free tier account in the GCP. Okay, Google Cloud platform, because we are going to do everything in the Google Cloud platform only. So what do we do here in the, I mean, my notes will have every information. For example, if you wanted to understand each and every tool, every day's class, text will be stored here only. And when it comes to the storage, Cloud SQL, IAM, data warehouse, BigQuery, data proc, Hadoop and Spark infrastructure, everything is here. You just have to learn everything one by one, sir. Okay, Apache Beam programming model, Airflow. Okay, so I will provide you the access to my notes. and it will be very useful. And some people might be asking about the prerequisite for the course. All right, so this is a one more question that people usually ask. Prerequisites for the course is, I will say, SQL, guys. SQL is the must. At least some basic knowledge on the SQL if you have, that is enough. You can build your career as a data engineer in the cloud. Okay, you can become or build your career as a cloud data engineer. Okay, so the main agenda of the course, what I would try to explain is that, so my course is going to be like this, guys. By the end of the course, I want you will be getting this kind of knowledge. Okay, you will come to know how to build data warehouses and data lakes. You will get knowledge on how to build it. Okay, so practically you will be able to build the data warehouse and data lakes, and data processing, or you can say PySpark development, Apache Beam development. You will be learning these things there by the end of the course. And the fourth thing is Apache Beam, SQL development. And the fifth thing, you're going to think in a perspective of architecture. So you're going to be preparing a data pipelines. Okay, and productionize the pipelines. So that is also very important, guys. Productionize the pipelines. Okay, productionizing is automating the pipelines. We don't want it to manually run the pipelines, right? We should automate the pipeline. So the pipeline is going to be run in the automated fashion at some point of time every day, or at some point of time in a week, right? So this is what. So by the end of this course, we are expecting everyone to have this kind of a knowledge. So that is also mentioned here somewhere. Okay, not here. Okay, somewhere it will be, but even I forgot. This is resource hierarchy, this is console. Yeah, this is somewhere here. You'll be able to see that, right? End of this course, experience in building data lakes, data warehouse, and operational databases, productionizing the pipelines, creating the jobs, workflows, and DAGs, SQL development, PySpark development, admin activities, data processing, preparation, and clean. So this is what you will be able to provide or build a solution for use case requirement. If you have a requirement from the business, you will be able to build one solution using a Google Cloud Platform services. So that kind of a exposure you are going to get by the end of this course. Okay, so this is what all about the course, guys. If you guys have any questions related to the course or a course content or a topics that we are going to cover in our sessions, you can ask me now. Okay, so this is now Q&A session. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, hi, this is Vinod Kumar. So somewhere you said it is like a Spark and PySpark and Spanner, you said, right? So we need any Hadoop architecture, any information is required for that?
No, so you don't need any of those things. I'm going to tell you guys. I will, because this course is going to be for those, it's also for those who are actually don't know the name of, who doesn't hear the name of the Hadoop also. Okay, this course, what I'm trying to do is that I will try to explain you what was the era before 10 years, how people were using the Hadoop, how people were using the Spark, now how people were using the Spark. So I'm going to introduce you, I'm going to take you 10 years before, I'm going to tell you how the era was, and I will also tell you how people are actually leveraging the benefit of the Hadoop and Spark today. So I'm going to explain you everything. So need not to learn about this thing. You assume that you don't, I'm assuming that you do not know the Hadoop, the name itself you do not know. Okay, that's what is the course. So we are going to start our course from the very basic, that is what is data onwards. We are going to start our course. So what is data? What is the classification of the data? What is the RDBMS? What are the DBMS management systems are there? So from there, the course is going to be started. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Is the data pipeline with the templates also you will able to see it?
I will show you how to
Yeah.
use the templates also.
Okay.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How to create a template also, I'll tell you. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Anyone? It's a very good time if you guys have any questions to ask. I'm going to assure you guys, even though if you do not have any questions, I'm going to assure that this course is going to be very useful if you wanted to build a career in the data engineering as a cloud. Cloud is very important nowadays. Even though there are people who are working in the on-premises, I would say that very, very minimal people working in the on-premises. Okay, 95% of the people are working in the cloud only.
So Python is required here because the data flow data.
I'll teach in the course.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you what you have to focus on. This is a good time. I can tell you. Okay. So if you are already coming from a SQL background, just focus on these things. Okay. The prerequisite for the course is SQL. Okay. If you're already coming from a SQL background, focus on these things. What is the data type? How to apply where, group by, order by. Need not to learn it, but understand what is meant by where. What is meant by group by? What is meant by order by? Okay, where is to filter the data, group by is to group the data, order by to sort the data, aggregations, joins, CTU, union, ranking functions. If you understand this thing, that's enough. And I will teach you these concepts. No, don't worry about that. Okay, yeah. I'm going to put this thing in the chart and copy. Okay, copy to your notes and try to work on this area.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
So you will going to explain again that this orchestration here, that what you explained, right? So the real-time process. So yeah.
Correct. So we're gonna. So you might have already know about the orchestration, right? So I'm gonna tell you. So what is airflow? What is the components of the airflow? You might have known, right? 4 components are there. And I'll explain you what is the main importance of the 4 important components and what is a DAG and how to create a DAG, what are the ways to create a DAG and how we actually create a DAG. We create 3 to 4 DAGs, level 1 DAG, level 2 DAG, level 3 DAG. So from the level 1 is very basic, level 2, level 3, it is a complex. So you will be understanding the main importance of the operators and you are going to create a DAG with help of the Python in the Airflow. Yes.
Okay. So when will the classes will start? This is the first demo, right? So
this is our first demo. From tomorrow onwards, the regular classes will be starting.
Tomorrow, okay.
For next 2 days, the demo is free, so you can attend and you try to understand. So and try to join the class, guys. It's going to be free for all for the next 2 demos.
So another 2 demos, the first and second, third, 3 demos.
Correct.
So 3 demos means tomorrow means Monday onwards it will start. Monday onwards the actual classes will start.
Actual classes will be starting from tomorrow onwards only. But from Monday onwards, what it will be like, it will be for those people who have registered for the course from Monday onwards.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Someone is asking a question.
Here, I wanted to ask, so this will be for Google Cloud Engineer, right? Like Google, GCP data engineer position, right? If I can apply for.
Correct. GCP data engineer. GCP.
So for the CI/CD, you will be using Bitbucket and Bamboo, or what you will be using?
Which one? Sorry.
For the CI/CD pipeline, the data flow you told, right? So for that, you will be using like Bitbucket and Bamboo or any other?
No. So I'm going to tell you guys, CI/CD is to make your code integrated. Continuous integration and continuous deployment is mainly for those who wanted to integrate their code continuously. But we don't want it to focus on that, right? Our main agenda is to prepare the code. So DevOps engineers will be there, our infra team will be there. They will be continuously integrating our code by the Git or whatever it is. But we are not focusing on that. But How do you process the data? The main agenda is development. We do the development. We don't worry about the operations, right? So DevOps operations. Development is our main agenda. Operations is taken care by the infra team. Okay, CI/CD is taken care by the infra team. For sure, some amount of knowledge on the CI/CD is also very important for the data engineers. I wouldn't say no to that, but so that we are not focusing on the CI/CD here. We are focusing on the data flow, how we are going to leverage the data flow with help of the Apache team, how to do the data processing with help of this thing. That is we are going to focus on.
Okay. Okay. So any ETL that you will be telling on this one or no? Like
we are having ETLs. So we are having a plenty of ETLs here. So ETL case study is also, if you might have seen somewhere, I've mentioned ETL case studies also.
Okay. So which ETL you'll be using, like Talent or any particular that you can mention here?
We need not to use those ETL tools because we already have our ETL tools in the GCP itself. One of that is a cloud composer, one of that is a data proc, one of that is a data flow and data fusion. These are also called as the ETL tools in the GCP.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, someone is asking a question. Are we good, guys? Any questions?
No, that's fine.
Okay, great. So I'm assuming that no one is having any questions. So this is it for today, guys. So far I just given you some idea. So I'm just recapitulate what we have discussed so far. I've told you what is the data engineering, the data life cycle, and the phases are the stages in the data life cycle. I have told you what is the GCP, why the cloud is important compared to the on-premises, how the cloud becomes very important now, and what are the tools in the GCP that we are going to learn with help of the data engineering. So that is what also I have told you. And I have given you my course content and description, each topic wise. And I have also given you some how we are going to have a real-time scenarios and projects, right? Yeah.
How you compare with AWS and Azure with the GCP data engineering?
That we will take up tomorrow, yes?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So make me remember tomorrow that we should understand the difference between the AWS and Azure. I'm going to say one thing to my students is that there isn't much difference when you learn a Google Cloud Platform, because I have seen my students who are actually learned the Google Cloud Platform and they go. I mean, I used to teach Azure as well. So I have seen people who are learned Google Cloud Platform working in the Azure. I've seen people who are learned actually the Azure and working in the Google Cloud Platform also. So platform wise, there isn't much differences, guys. The only thing is that the opportunities wise, there will be a difference. Okay, platform wise, you don't see much difference. The name is the main difference. The working culture is same here and there in the Azure or the whatever AWS or a Google Cloud Platform, because the tools are same. Okay, if you wanted to do the data engineering, the tools are same. The only difference is the name and the way you are working is different. Okay, but when it comes to the opportunities, Google Cloud is having a plenty of opportunities now. Okay. Yeah, that's the main agenda here. So that's the main agenda to take me have a course on the Google Cloud Platform with the data engineering. That's the main agenda. I have seen people who are getting almost 3 interviews or 4 interviews in a week. They're attending the 3 to 4 interviews in a week. So that's how the Google Cloud Platform become. Even though you have interviews for the Azure as well as AWS, but comparatively, Google is having a more number of opportunities outside. Okay. Yeah.
So one thing actually
for 45 days only, right? Like
correct.
as you told that 40 hours. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
So one thing is like always we are talking about the cloud in the sense of AWS, Azure, and the GCP.
Correct.
What about the OAC is a Oracle Infrastructure Cloud that is not come to in this?
I mean, comparatively, we have only 3 trending and 3 mostly used cloud providers. That is AWS. For sure, the AWS is having a large market. But the thing is, the jobs, if you wanted to get, you need to compete with the plenty of highly professional people, and the cost of the service also very high when you go and use the AWS and Azure. So that's the reason projects don't want to leverage the benefit of the AWS and Azure, because each service is having very costly. But when you go to the Google, the cost of the service is reasonable, and that's the reason most of the projects are looking for the Google Cloud projects.
And OIC also is come to that same place, right? Is OIC is Oracle Cloud system.
Oracle Cloud, I personally say that Oracle Cloud doesn't have that much features that these three cloud providers have. Okay. It doesn't have that much, and the market as well as, I mean, people are using the Oracle. I've seen people who are using the Oracle from past 15-20 years. But the features that the Oracle have when it comes to the data engineering or the DevOps or the app development, it is not having those kind of services in the Oracle. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe for the data engineering it is having, but mainly, but when you go and look at the Google Cloud and look at the kind of a services that these three cloud providers are providing and compare it with the Oracle, and Oracle having less number of services outside.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Okay. So far so good. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Don't forget, 7 a.m. is our class session tomorrow and after tomorrow. Yep. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Yep.